And the next one is the Clary Pearce from the Northwest Richmond Residents Association. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So I'm Clary Pearce. Some of you know me from my day job. I'm here today as a resident of Stapleton's Road and the coordinator of Northwest Richmond Residents Association. We were formed as what we call a motley crew, digging silt in early February, mid-February. And we've carried on since then helping people with earthquake recovery and similar problems in the neighbourhood. As I go through our presentation, I'd like you to sit there and think what is normal for me versus what is normal for the people that live in this neighbourhood. So this area is zoned Special Category 1 in the district plan, and that's why I put a picture of a nice villa up there. But to us, it's really special, right? That's what special means to us. So the issues. The footpaths are dangerous, trip hazards for all, but especially the young, the elderly, and folk with health issues, i.e. those recovering from operations and needing to walk as part of their recovery. Certainly even a fit young person is at risk outside of daylight hours. They are not safe for young people on tricycles or those trying to learn to ride bicycles. So I made an obscure note in my written submission about the MCRs being of no use if the kids can't learn to ride a bike at home in the first place. It's not possible to walk with a wheeled shopping basket or a pushchair without frequently going onto the road. And obviously this applies to mobility scooters as well. We feel we shouldn't have to drive to St Albans or Merivale in order to walk the streets for exercise. We want to be able to walk in our own neighbourhood. The visual impact, pictures will just tell us a story really. This area looks like a ghetto, made worse by Enable and all their graffiti. The few grass berms that we had, which were not damaged, were dug up and never fixed properly. The driveways and footpaths made even more unsightly with multicoloured graffiti. Do they leave this mess in the middle of Fendleton, or do the maintenance crews come along and tidy things up? And if you think I'm being a little cynical about that, let me note that after the February earthquake, 2 days later, there was a city care crew of 10 hands sweeping Mansfield Avenue while we were out with shovels. Health issues. There's a physical danger from falls and accidents. There are physical dangers from dust and silt. The mental health issues from living in a ghetto and not being able to recover from the earthquakes. The new normal for us is depressingly awful. So what do we want? We don't want anything extra. We don't want any gold plating. We just want our share of the funding that was allocated to fix our neighbourhood and to be told when it will happen. And we want this to happen before others get improvements or new stuff. We don't like the proposition put forward by Minister Brownlee that we might have to wait 20 or 30 years. But we also don't like Council's proposition because it has no visibility and therefore to us it is the emperor's clothes. Skirt has money in the LTP next year for ongoing road repairs of $101 million and $23 million the year after. Following that, the LTP only has resurfacing funding. We need significant rebuilding and repairs, not resurfacing. We don't want any more patching. We don't want stitches, we do want stitches and plastic surgery, not sticking plasters. So surely if you're going to approve $101 million for roading next year, there should be a schedule to support that funding. And somebody should therefore be able to tell us, do we even sit on that schedule? We don't get provided with any information on our recovery. We currently have 2 roads closed while Skirt thinks about what they're going to do next. So they close the road, send out a notice, thanks very much, we'll come back to you. Many of our houses have been fixed, and in the past this has been used as an excuse for inaction and delay. Any subsequent damage that is done has to be fixed by the builders. And in fact, the best bits of footpath that we have at the moment are the ones where the houses have been fixed. You don't see that outside a house that's just had a council consent signed off. Our water and wastewater reticulation have been fixed, perhaps with the exception of any rework required that we don't know about. This means that in an open and transparent prioritisation of work, our area should look the same as Western Road and similar roads to the west of Hills Road. Where's all the money gone? We aren't asking for, and indeed don't want, temporary solutions. We want to be part of normal Christchurch, to have our roads and footpaths fixed, not patched, and to be able to look forward to leading normal lives. We don't want to be fobbed off anymore. And while I said we aren't asking for anything extra, I couldn't let the opportunity go by. It would be nice if you considered some form of betterment and that the roads could be narrowed, the berms made wider, and the ending result would be that it'll cost less for council to maintain ongoing and would improve the feel of the neighbourhood. We haven't targeted the line items in the LTP that could be reprioritised in order that we actually get something, but I'm sure you can readily identify projects that are intended to produce significant improvements over and above pre-earthquake situations. The suburban master plans being an obvious starter for 10. Most residents in our area don't submit on community centres, libraries, sports stadiums, swimming pools, major cycleways. They're too mentally stuck in their own ghetto. They're normal with families growing up not knowing any better. I actually flicked over a page on, it just has a couple of points that I'll go back to. The roads are not safe for cyclists. We can't avoid driving on the broken roads and the resulting damage to our car. I looked to take some photos of broken roads, but in fact, it's very difficult to take a photo of a broken road and demonstrate just how broken it really is. I was going to use a dash cam, but I thought that you folk are capable of driving down these roads should you wish. The grass booms and gutters, we have tall weeds growing out of the gutters. These recently got sprayed, so now we've got tumbleweed. We predominantly have deep dish channels. These don't get cleaned properly. In fact, they've still got silt in them 4 years on. Under the driveways are often blocked and residents can only clean them to a certain extent because your average garden hoe doesn't go down very far. The state of the edges of the road, as you saw in those previous photographs, are such that even getting in and out of a car is an issue for people. And also follows that the stormwater doesn't flow. So for those of you who think I've been a bit strong using the word ghetto, because it was put to me that perhaps that word was too emotive, it isn't. We're a minority group in the city. And the neighbourhood that we live in, which is bounded by Hills Road, North Avon Road, North Parade and Shirley Road, is for us a ghetto. So thank you for listening.
Unfortunately, it's not the only one. There's right through the east is like that. Pauline.
Thank you, Clary. You mentioned a road that's been closed off. Can I please ask you which one you're talking about? I know Chancellor and Guild.
Yeah, Chancellor and Stapleton's.
Stapleton's is closed off as well. So Chancellor's pretty much permanently closed off.
There was no consultation on that except with the immediate neighbours.
Oh, okay. So you think it wasn't broad enough? So it's Stapleton's.
Yeah, Stapleton's
is it at the North Avon? No, not the
No,
North Avon
at Randall's, not Randall's. Yeah, Randall Street. They closed it off to do something with a main that goes through there, and they were going to provide a slip lane. On the day that they did it, they closed it, and then said they discovered they didn't have enough room to put the slip lane in. And then a couple of days later, they said that they'd found unforeseen conditions and they'll come back whenever. Meanwhile, it stays closed.
And so you're really, you'd really much appreciate an update on what's happening there and when it might be.
In the overall scheme of things, that doesn't matter, right? It's about getting everything sorted and getting our neighbourhood back to normal.
But you need a
mention
timeline.
that you felt you weren't being informed.
Oh, we're not, no.
Okay, so that's something you want to address as well.
Yeah, Glenn.
Thank you, Clary, and thank you as a staff member. Occasionally we do have this coming forward, and thank you, Carleen. That freedom exists. It hasn't in the past, I can say, so I hope that continues. And I think it's fair to say that roads equals social well-being. I'm hearing it's been 4 years.
I think it's definitely about social well-being. I mean, I was unwell myself for a while, and I had to walk up and down the driveway because if I went out the driveway, there was too high a probability I was going to fall over, because at that stage I was reasonably unwell. But I walk my granddaughter, who lives with us, in a pushchair down the road, and we continually have to go out onto the road because you saw some of those photographs. You can't walk down a road like that. I bought a bicycle for my granddaughter in the December for Christmas, my oldest granddaughter. She's now 10. She got to ride that bike through until mid-February. She hasn't been able to ride it since. You can't let a child ride a bike out onto those roads and footpaths.
The time's finished, but I'm not sure whether footpaths are in the SCIRT program. Are you able to just? I mean, I can ask you offline, but this isn't the first submission, and it won't be the last.
Depending on, it's not a priority of the SCIRT program, but we do replace them where we have to dig them up because we've destroyed them for putting a pipe down that side.
Which means that if they've been damaged by the earthquake, they're still damaged 4 years later. Okay. Right, that answers that question. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right.